everyone loves a good story.
Okay, I'll give it a go then.
Do it.
Once upon a time in ancient China, there was a hero by the name of Dai Yu. The emperor dispatched Dai Yu to deal with a disastrous flood, and on the way, he stopped to cook his dinner.
Sounds like he was in a rush.
Yeah, our hero was in such a hurry actually that he couldn't wait for his food to cool so that he could use his fingers to eat it.
I see.
So instead he used a pair of sticks pulled from a nearby tree.
Ingenious. There is another story in which general and politician Jiang Ziya was fishing, and a bird came to perch and began to speak.
As birds do.
They do, yeah. And he said, "Look, you chaps really shouldn't be using your fingers to eat. The tools you need are at my feet." It was a poet bird who wrote poetry.
I mean, very, very clever.
Yeah, so our mate Jiang Ziya was clearly impressed by this rather gifted bird and took the twigs on which the bird perched from the silk bamboo tree and used them to continue eating.
In another tale, about 2,500 years ago, Emperor Zhou was the ruler of China, and a particularly fussy eater, it's got to be said. Daji, his favourite consort, took a pair of jade needles from her headpiece and handed them to him, which King Zhou decided was very refined. So from that day forward, he started using 2 jade spines to eat his food.
So, no prizes for guessing the subject of today's Open China. Yes, it's Kaiser.
Chopsticks!
Yay!
Another Chinese invention to add to the list, right?
Right. Of course, it takes a fair bit of practice to get really good at chopsticks, I assume, because I never actually did. I was so hungry by the 3rd day in China that I gave up trying the traditional way, and so I got really crap chopstick technique. I don't know if it's a source of shame for my dexterity or a source of pride for the power of Chinese food to motivate me into just finding any way I could.
Probably both.
Probably.
Now, when the earliest traveller first entered China, they were astonished by how, without the aid of a knife, fork or spoon, Chinese folks were able to use the smooth chopsticks to lift pretty much anything into their mouths.
Korea, Japan, Vietnam, amongst others, all use chopsticks. During the Tang Dynasty, one of China's most flourishing times in terms of art and culture and trade, chopsticks found their way to Japan. Slightly shorter and mostly wooden as opposed to bamboo, and with sharper tips and broader ends, they're tailored to eating a cuisine which features cold and raw dishes.
Yeah, and also, unlike in China where everyone sits around a large round table and sometimes must reach over for their food, in Japan food is often served as an individual dish.
So you don't need those long chopsticks to sort of get in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Another of China's neighbours is Korea, where chopsticks are very similar to ancient Chinese styles. They're made from metal, so they don't change colour with time, and their tips are squared and flat and are perfect for eating grilled meat, which is a favourite dish of many Koreans and Moreg,
Yes.
it seems like.
And of course, in China, as a traditional eating utensil, they have an entire culture of their own. For example, the round tip represents the sky, and the square part on the bottom represents the earth. A very typical way of seeing the world for people in ancient China. There is a heaven above us, and here we are on earth.
And the correct length for chopsticks is 23.53 centimetres. Why so precise? Well, I'll tell you.
Good, thank you.
Chinese measurement is 7 cun and 6 fen, which means there's the concept of 7 emotions and 6 sensations, which is used to describe the entire spectrum of human emotion and feeling, and basically the essence of being human. So if you come to China and use chopsticks, be sure not to stick it in your rice, play drum solos, or use them to point at other people.
Definitely not. But if you could do that with any of these, then I would be super impressed, because these are actually the longest chopsticks in existence. 6.3 meters long, 11 centimeters wide at the base, and 7.5 centimeters wide even at the tip.
That's like one of these, but like that wide.
Oh my goodness.
So if you can use them to finish your dinner and perhaps build a little muscle as long as you're at the Chinese Museum of Food Culture in Shenyang, which is in northeast China. So next time you pick up a pair of chopsticks, have a look and see if you can guess what kind they are, where they've come from. Are they flat, pointed? Are they over 6 meters long? Well, you'll have no problem reaching the roast duck on the other side of the spinning jenny if you do.
So, happy eating.
And remember when you're opening this, to keep this in.
Yeah, remember to tell us what you think, like us on Facebook, Twitter, let us know in the comments.
And we'll see you next time we're in China.
Bye.
Bye.